Welcome to the Wall of Soundtrack, a show where we discuss the music and soundtracks behind the very best TV shows and motion pictures. In this episode, we'll be analyzing and dissecting the music and soundtrack behind James Gunn's Marvel sequel, Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2. Hey guys, just a quick update. I will be releasing a new episode of the Wall of Soundtrack podcast where Cy and I analyze and dissect the music and soundtrack behind Ryan Coogler's Marvel film, Black Panther. So be on the lookout for that episode coming your way. Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2 is a Marvel sequel that was written and directed by James Gunn and was released in 2017. The film's main storyline surrounds Peter Quill and the Guardians Gamora, Drax, Rocket, and Baby Groot as they protect important batteries from an interdimensional space monster. The film's cast includes a variety of impressive actors and actresses, including the following: Chris Pratt as Peter Quill or Star-Lord, Zoe Saldana as Gamora, Dave Bautista as Drax the Destroyer, Vin Diesel as Baby Groot, Bradley Cooper as Rocket, Michael Rooker as Yondu Udanta, Kurt Russell as Peter Quill's father, Ego, and Sylvester Stallone as Stakar Ogard. My returning guest for this discussion is Cy Shackelford. Cy is a writer for the entertainment commentary and review website Action A Go Go. You can follow his articles on the website www.actionagogo.com, and you can also follow him on Twitter. His Twitter handle is @Shack_House83. I had a great time discussing this soundtrack with Cy, and I hope you enjoyed as well. Here's my discussion with Cy on the music and soundtrack behind James Gunn's Marvel sequel, Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2. All right, Cy, thanks for joining me again.
Good to be back. Good to be back. I'm excited to do about this one right here.
Yeah, this was a great one. I was really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it had me revisit the movie for the first time since Avengers Endgame came out. When was it? When was that? May or April of 2019 now?
Yeah.
Yes, this is the third time I've seen the film, and looking back on it now, I'm like, this was better than the original.
Yeah, and it had the soundtrack was just awesome.
Yeah, the soundtrack was awesome, and they had more. And the director James Gunn had more carte blanche to do whatever he wanted to with this film.
Yeah,
I mean, it grossed $100 million more than the original did.
Yeah, it seems like it's just got a really nice following.
It does. I mean, like we said in the podcast we did for the first Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, Disney, Marvel, they took these D-list characters and made them household names.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who Groot is, who the legendary Star-Lord is, the Rocket Raccoon, all that.
Yeah, and it's like, we were just talking about this a little bit beforehand about how there were just so many, amazing actors in this film and well-known actors, like Sylvester Stallone makes an appearance.
That was unexpected, just as Kurt Russell's appearance as Ego was unexpected as well. And even though they didn't have any screen time together, seeing Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone in the same film is like, okay, Tango and Cash reunited.
Yeah, and then Michael Rooker and Sylvester Stallone from
Cliffhanger. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, that guy has been in so many movies. Michael Rooker.
Rooker has. Yeah, he even had a bit part in just one episode of season 3 of True Detective.
Yeah.
He played the hell out of his role though as Edward Hoyt.
Yeah, he's a really good actor. I feel like he's often just kind of underrated, He's been
in so many things. I remember him in Mississippi Burning, the story about Henry Lee Lucas, a serial killer.
Yeah.
What else has he been in? Was that him in Mallrats?
I'm not sure.
I don't think that was him. No.
Yeah, but he's really just a great actor. I mean,
he's always going to have work.
Yeah. So, have you seen any new movies lately, or?
New movies? No, I can't say that I have seen any new movies lately. Haven't been in the movie theater in a while, to tell the truth.
Yeah, I saw the new Star Wars.
How was that?
It was, I don't know. I mean, it was kind of drawn out.
I gave up on these Disney Star Wars films after I saw Episode 8. When I saw that, I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, you're not even trying no more, are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And seeing those movies, these Disney ones, are a reminder of why on my Blu-ray rack right behind you, why the only Star Wars movies I have are the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I won't even buy the prequel trilogies, which are marginally better than the Disney ones.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just kind of lost track of them after those first three. You know, I feel like those are still the best in my mind.
Although I will say the Mandalorian that's on Disney Plus, that's better than all the newer Disney movies that they've dropped in the past few years.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting how Disney, they bought Marvel Studios, right?
They bought Marvel Studios, yeah. They got Star Wars under them. And in fact, the Mandalorian, that's Jon Favreau's baby, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's behind the writing and directing of many of the episodes.
Yeah, he did what, Iron Man, right?
He directed the first 2 Iron Man films, and he played in all 3 of them as Happy Hogan, Iron Man's chauffeur, and later head of security. And he appeared in the Spider-Man movies under Marvel and some of the Avengers films.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Robert Downey Jr. on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, yeah?
And they asked him about, like, whether he was going to do another Iron Man or not. And he was like, nah, I'm done with that.
Yeah, he's done with that. I mean, he fulfilled his movie studio deal, 10 movies, and he got paid on both upfront for his regular salary and the back-end deal, too. So that dude's... He must have grossed like $500 million off all the Marvel Studio movies he was in alone.
Yeah, I feel like he doesn't need to work for like the rest of his life anymore.
He doesn't, but he'll still work. It's fun for these actors.
Yeah. I mean, they like to do these type of films, and I mean, I'm sure he'll show up in the Avengers. Maybe not. I don't know.
After Avengers Endgame, I don't think so, unless they show him in a flashback scene or something.
Yeah. So, I was telling you, I saw that movie Blown Away. With Tommy Lee Jones and Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man. That movie just like I told you, it changed my whole view on U2.
Yeah, some Tommy Lee Jones like dancing to a U2 song, and he's an IRA bomber.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, considering U2's often known message of peace, I'm like, them two don't go together.
Yeah. It was really weird to watch, but man, Tommy Lee Jones is such a good actor, though.
Speaking of Tommy Lee Jones, they've been showing The Fugitive a lot on Showtime in the past month now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, even though I've seen this movie several times since I was a kid, I saw it in the theater when I was 10.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I get it. You guys like Tommy Lee Jones. Now show U.S. Marshals if you want to make a change up on anything.
Speaking of that, Robert Downey Jr. is in that.
Oh yeah, he played his part really good in that film.
Yeah, he plays just like a psycho, man, like psycho killer, like.
Yeah, it's like you gotta really keep your eye on him to let you know what he's really about.
Yeah, he's all about like just stabbing you in the back.
Pretty much, yeah.
So
almost got away with it too.
Yeah, but Tommy Lee Jones, he catches him. Spoiler alert, right? Like, but
he's the great Samuel Gerard, and he always has to win.
Yeah, as his ex-wife says, right? Like,
no. That was his partner from Cosmo, played by Joe Pantoliano.
Right. But wasn't his wife like the head of like the U.S. Marshals or something? Like,
he wasn't married. She was just his boss.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I guess I need to pay a little more attention next time.
Oh, they bickered like a married couple.
Yeah, they did. So, yeah, man, this soundtrack. Let's jump into it. So, first song by Looking Glass, Brandy, You're a Fine Girl. That's in the opening scene, right?
In the opening scene, yeah, where it goes back to Missouri in 1980, where we see the legendary Star-Lord's parents, Meredith Quill, and a man played by Kurt Russell, who we learn right then and there is actually an alien. But to what extent? The film just goes deep with that. Yeah. And then, so like I guess he's with his wife, right? Kurt Russell is with his with Peter Quill's mom, essentially. Pretty much, yeah.
It's crazy how they made him look like so much younger. Like,
it is. I mean, that de-aging technology. They did the same thing with Jeff Bridges in Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
Although people thought it was creepy there, but I'm like, that's actually pretty good. I mean, he does look like his younger self back in 1982. Yeah. Because before that, I saw the de-aging technology in that X-Men Origins Wolverine film, where they tried to do it with Patrick Stewart, and I'm like, this looks so computer generated. It's not even. It's like you motherfuckers aren't even trying.
It was crazy, the aging technology that they used for what was it, The Irishman?
The Irishman, yeah, with De Niro and Pacino.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
And Pesci, yeah. I mean, those guys are in their mid 70s to 80s now, but they aged them back as much as they could. Like, look, they had them look like they were in their 40s.
Yeah, that was, and it worked. I think it worked for the most part.
It did. I mean, I thought it was just a hell of a makeup job, but that just testifies to how good the computer generation was.
Yeah. So, this song, this band, Looking Glass, is from New Jersey.
Yeah.
And so this was a song that was like produced in 1972.
Yeah, it was on their self-titled debut album, and it was their only hit song. It was number 1 on the pop charts for only a week.
Okay, wow. Yeah, this is a song I just didn't know about. It's kind of interesting.
Me neither. I never heard of it before. I saw it in this film myself.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised that James Gunn went with this song. Because I was like, in the last Guardians movie, I was like, I felt like it had a little bit more well-known, like music.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. And like, what's it called? Like, as in this film as well too, I was still, I didn't turn my phone off either when I saw it in the theater. I'm like, I need it on. I need Shazam on.
Yeah.
There are songs I'm not going to know that I'm going to like, and I want to know what the hell they are right away.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think, it works though, like when you look at the lyrics with the theme of the movie, this plot, and pretty well. He came on a summer's day bringing gifts from far away, but he made it clear he couldn't stay, no harbor was in his home.
Yeah, Ego, those lyrics right there, they foreshadow what Ego's really about. I mean, yeah, he's damn near a god who just wants to continue on his own personal expansion, and he loves Meredith. He really genuinely does love her. But he can't stay. His need to expand takes precedence. And what's even more sad is the fact that Meredith, she loved a man who loved her so much that he deliberately gave her a brain tumor. Yeah,
and that was a little weird. It's kind of crazy, the writing, like they named this character Ego.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even in the book. Ego is basically a giant planet with a face.
Right.
He's not a god, but he's a very powerful cosmic being. Not like this though. I mean, they just took the Ego name and just put it in the form of Kurt Russell.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy seeing him in this movie. I mean,
it is. It wasn't expected. I was like, even though they did debut it at Comic-Con, I'm sure, but it's like, it was an unexpected surprise for me because I haven't seen Kurt Russell in anything in a very long time.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I think he was in that Quentin Tarantino movie, right? Was he in The Incredible Eight or
The Hateful Eight?
Or The Hateful Eight? Yeah.
Was he?
I feel like he was.
He might have been.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I haven't seen him in a movie in a long time. Yeah, it's nice to see him getting back involved with film because he's such a good actor. I mean,
if you want to get back in the film, get back in the public's eye, have yourself in an MCU movie.
Yeah. So our next song by Electric Light Orchestra, Mr. Blue Sky.
Oh, this is great. I love how this was used in the film.
Yeah. And this was used in, what was this scene?
The opening credits, actually.
It's actually in the opening credits. Oh, yeah, I remember this. Yeah, so like Groot's dancing.
He's trying to connect the mic together so everybody, because Peter, he wanted some music to do while they do their stealing job or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So Groot's trying to get the thing back on, get the mic back on. As soon as it hits, you see everybody battling in the background in the opening credits.
Yeah.
And the backdrop of this song, Mr. Blue Sky, it has like a positive backdrop to it, even with all the action going on behind it.
Yeah. And they're fighting like this creature that looks like a squid, essentially.
Yeah.
But it was funny because he's dancing and then like he puts the amp together. And
the amp, that's what it was.
And then Drax falls on it and breaks it, right? And gets thrown into it.
Drax, he's so literal.
Yeah. And it's so funny because you see David Bautista in this movie, and he is like the comic relief, I guess. Not the only comic relief, but
he's a literal straight man.
Yeah,
it's like he's funny even when he's not even trying to be.
Yeah, and I feel like he's trying to do more comedy. I mean, I think he was in a movie recently, some sort of like cop movie.
If he is, then more power to him because he's funny in this.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a funny thing about this song is, on the album it was on the 1977 album, Out of the Blue, the cover art has like a large spaceship with the band's logo in the middle of it. It's like a red, yellow, and blue, it's like a Simon. Remember that Simon toy that glows different colors?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like on the cover. And I'm like, this is actually a deliberate choice on James Gunn's part, considering that Guardians of the Galaxy takes place in space and you see many spaceships.
Yeah. And this band, Electric Light Orchestra, they've had a bunch of different songs and movies too as well. I was looking into this. American Hustle. Yeah. They had a track in there. I think it was called Long Black Road.
Yeah, it was more recent as opposed to one of their songs in the 70s.
Yeah.
They also had ELO also had a song in that movie Savages called Do Ya. It was used near the end of the film.
And that's the Oliver Stone.
Yeah, Oliver Stone film Savages, yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to watch that, man. It looked pretty good.
That was a good film. I saw that on a whim back in 2012, not knowing what it was about at all. It was like, oh, okay. This is basically Oliver Stone's thoughts on how America handles the marijuana.
Yeah. And the drug trade, I guess.
Specifically that trade, really.
Was Bill Paxton in that? Or?
No, John Travolta.
John Travolta, yeah.
Benicio del Toro, Salma Hayek, Taylor Kitsch, Aaron Johnson playing whatever the fuck his last name is. He played the main character in Kick-Ass.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And then they had a song in Kingpin too.
The bowling movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with Randy Quaid and Bill Murray. Oh, damn, that's a throwback.
Yeah, I heard that's a pretty funny movie too.
I remember I saw when I was an 8th grader. Yeah, and they had Vanessa Angel up in it too.
Yeah. So when we look at this, it's a joyous song, right?
It's a real positive song. Yeah, it's like very upbeat, and in the lyrics they kind of run in contrast with what we eventually see in the film with Ego.
Yeah.
In fact, the lyrics could be a literal interpretation of how Meredith is longing for Ego. Mr. Blue Sky, please don't ask why you had to hide away for so long.
Yeah. And it's I like the contrast. It's like that how James Gunn went with this song, and it's supposed to be happy, and then there are the rest of the Guardians kind of getting their asses kicked.
Yeah, in a comedic way.
Yeah. So it was great.
I mean, the way Gunn chooses music is like, okay, you're getting up there with Scorsese and Tarantino.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I mentioned this before we started this episode, is that there's a lot of that like in this movie. I feel like he kind of piggybacks off the Pina Colada song that he put in the first film, and a lot of great songs.
He does. It's formulaic, but it works.
Yeah. So our next one's by Aliota Haynes Jeremiah.
Oh, Lakeshore Drive.
Lakeshore Drive. So this is when they play this when they're on the ship, right?
Yeah, the Milano, their ship, yeah. Where we get to see the Guardians in their literal home base.
Yeah.
And it's the way I saw it is like it's kind of used to show the Guardians in their more familiar setting with each other, and for the audience to refamiliarize themselves with the Guardians.
Yeah.
But the song itself, it's really literally a reminiscence of the band Aliota Haynes Jeremiah. They're from Chicago.
Yeah.
And the Lakeshore Drive is a long stretch of road, a famous long stretch of road in that city. And that's what the song's about. Of course, when the single came out, the vinyl single came out back in 1970, it was called LSD, which immediately made people think it was a drug album.
Right. And this was just a rock group, right?
It was just a rock group, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the band's name is composed of the names of their bassist, Mitch Aliota, their drummer, Ted Aliota, they're siblings.
Yeah.
The guitarist, Skip Haynes. Yeah, and then later when Ted Aliota departed from the group, he was replaced by John Jeremiah, who makes it the third part of the name. Yeah.
And I think it kind of hits back to like you just said, that the Milano, the ship, is their home, and this song is kind of talking about that, right? I mean,
it's about home.
Yeah. I think it's funny, the LSD, the LSD part,
just snaking on by on LSD.
Yeah.
I'm like
Shocker, right?
Shocker, yeah, it's 1970. Just coming out of the whole drug culture of the 60s.
Yeah, the psychedelic like era. So that's funny, and I also think it's funny because in this scene, Drax starts talking about like his wife and like how she he kind of like she gets him aroused. It's pretty funny.
Which is funny because Drax in the book, Drax is actually a human. And he was married at one point. He used to be a real estate agent named Arthur Douglas, and he was married at one point. But what turned him into Drax was the villain Thanos, who we seen played by Josh Brolin in these films. He was trying to hide out on Earth and didn't want nobody to see him. And Arthur and his family, they were just coming back from vacation, so he decided to destroy their car that they were in. The wife was killed. Arthur was killed, and this is a segue into the Eternals movie that they're going to be doing later this year in the MCU with Salma Hayek in it.
Nice.
It's a little too much for me to get into, and I can't even summarize. So let's just get back on track.
Yeah. But it's a funny scene. He starts talking about his wife. He's like how he made his she made his like nether region like bulge or something.
Yeah, he's so literal. Yeah.
It's like, dude,
clinical.
You don't have to tell us too much information.
That's
right?
TMI right there. Yeah, it's TMI. Like, no matter how well you phrase it.
Yeah. And then we go to our next song by Fleetwood Mac, the infamous The Chain.
Oh, from their 1977 ultra big album, Rumors.
Yeah, I just love this song, man. This song is awesome. And, not to go on
Go ahead.
Not to go on a long, winded conversation about Fleetwood Mac, but I always remember, like, seeing them on MTV, and they had this concert series called The Dance.
Oh, that was on VH1.
Or it's on VH1.
VH1 right? Storytellers, yeah.
Yeah, and they play live, and they play this song live, and it's, like, incredible. Like,
I actually had that album back in the day. We got it from Columbia House.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they had that song, they had The Chain, they had Gold Dust Woman, Silver Springs.
Yeah.
And what else? Landslide.
Yeah.
Which was used in a lot of movies in somber scenes in the late 90s.
And then they had the one, If You Can Go Your Own Way.
Yeah, which was on the album that this was on, Rumors.
Yeah, and it sounds really good live. Like they're incredible musicians.
They are. This song right here, as well as the song Dreams, that's what made me buy this album from Barnes and Nobles back when I was in college.
Yeah, and now it's crazy. They kicked Lindsey Graham out of the band.
Lindsey Buckingham.
Or Lindsey Buckingham. Lindsey Graham. Man, you can tell I live near DC, right?
Yeah, you can tell, yeah. Politics.
Yeah, Lindsey Buckingham, he got kicked out of the band, and that's just a shame. But anyways, this song is like perfect.
It was used twice in the film, just like the Brandy song by Looking Glass. It was used twice in the film, which shows just how deeply embedded into the plot it is.
Yeah. Like, and it's like the chain, right? The Guardians, they stick together, like they never break,
But we see them essentially splitting up when this song is first played. Like when Star-Lord, Gamora, and Drax, they leave with Ego to go to his planet, and they leave behind Rocket, Baby Groot, and Nebula to repair the Milano. And so the families pretty much split at that point.
Yeah.
And they keep repeating that lyric in the song. And if you don't love me now, you will never love me again.
Yeah.
Off key as that sounds, I know.
It's okay, man. It actually sounded pretty good. I know you're getting over a cold. So.
Yeah, I am kind of getting over a cold, yeah. And this is just therapy for me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, in the lyric, it's like an ultimatum with one party pressuring the other. Like, if you can't make our relationship work, if you can't repair our bond, then I'm gonna bounce. I'm gone.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was pretty crazy because in Fleetwood Mac, like Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, they were like actually dating, right? Like,
they were, and I think Stevie Nicks was having an affair with Tom Petty at the time too.
Yeah. Yeah, and they have like
and cocaine was a big part of their whole relationship, but then again, they're musicians.
Yeah. But I know even Stevie Nicks had I think a relationship at one point with like Mick Fleetwood, like the drummer.
Probably.
It's pretty crazy.
It is. I'm surprised they never had any kids all together out of that.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty crazy band relationship, but
it's funny how this song was the one that was used in the film, really, because if you look at the liner notes for Rumors, The Chain is the only song that's actually credited to all the members of Fleetwood Mac, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the whole theme of unity with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, exactly. And this song, man, that bass line,
Like that part was like boom,
Dum,
boom,
dum, dum, dum.
yeah,
Dum,
that drum build up. It's like so famous.
Yeah, it is.
That solo too that Lindsey Buckingham does is just crazy.
It is. This is a good song to use. I mean, yeah, and the way it was used in the film, the lyrics really similar. They really reflect what the Guardians are about. Their whole a family with a bond, and that was shown in the first film too. Like near the end when they channeled the power of the Power Stone and they all lived.
Yeah,
it's like you can't break the chain, and by the film's end, their bond is unbroken.
Yeah, this is just perfect. This is a perfect song to use.
And the second time it's used in the film is when the team is at their lowest, but they're rallying together. And Peter, he's fighting off his father, Ego, played by Kurt Russell, because we now learn that Ego, he sired many children throughout the centuries, right? Trying to find the one that he could help use as a battery for his power. But they all end up dead, except for Peter.
Yeah.
Peter might be the only one that could actually be of use to him. But when Peter realized that what his father really wants him for, he takes control away from it, the power away from his father and uses it against him.
Yeah.
And at this point, Peter, even though he's fighting a guy who's his blood family, he's fighting to protect the people he considers his real family.
Yeah.
And that reaffirmed their bond.
Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, when you look at like kind of it to the plot and the themes of this movie, a lot of it is around family.
Around
right?
family, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a year later, we see that theme exponentially more in regards to father and son in the Black Panther movie.
Yeah. So we go to our next song by Glenn Campbell, Southern Nights. I like how they use this
Oh, it was
song.
fun. It was fun how they used it.
Yeah, this was like essentially their rockets in the forest. And I believe he's either like on a camp out or he's like near a ship. Like, was it his ship or?
It was another ship.
It was another ship. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like one group of unsuspecting mercenaries after another.
Yeah. And he's just kind of like, just waiting for them. You know, he's like, he's got everything planned out.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like booby traps and he's just sitting there waiting to like, to set those mines off.
Oh yeah, he's having fun with this. I mean, that's what he does best. He blows shit up.
Yeah, and this is again one of those songs. It's like I feel like it's kind of a happy like song. Southern Nights. Have you ever It's supposed to be like happy, and then all these people are getting their asses kicked and blown up.
That's what I'm saying. It's like James Gunn's study from the school of Scorsese and Tarantino. Use a happy song with some dark shit happening in the background.
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome, and I feel like Glenn Campbell is a pretty famous country music singer, right?
Yeah, he released 70 albums in his 50-year career. He died a few years ago, actually.
That's insane. 70 albums.
Yeah, I mean, and the song Southern Nights was on of an album of the same name, Southern Nights. That was his 32nd album from 1977.
Damn, man, talk about just prolific.
Yeah,
right? Like,
stayed in the studio.
Yeah. Yeah, that's output right there, right?
And he had an audience too. I mean,
yeah. So yeah, this song again reminds me of that whole Pina Colada from Volume 1, that kind of vibe, but captures the scene perfectly. I mean, it's essentially, have you ever felt a southern night? I mean, the scene is at night, free as a breeze, not to mention the trees, whistling tunes that you know and love so.
Oh man, it captures the scene, yeah, considering the setting.
Yeah. So then we go to our next one by George Harrison, My Sweet Lord. So he's was part of the Beatles. And this song, I believe it's used when Peter, Gamora, and Drax arrived at Ego's planet. Yeah, the Beatles.
Yeah.
So there's some more, like iconic.
Yeah, I wonder how much they paid to have this one used on here.
Yeah, this one was probably pretty expensive, I'm sure, for the royalty or the license fee.
The license fees, yeah. I mean, I remember in the first film, I kept thinking, okay, half your budget probably had to go to these songs.
Yeah, the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how they got that whole movie together, and they have all these actors that I'm sure are actresses that were they probably asked for a decent amount of money too, or something on the back end, right?
Probably Bradley Cooper. Shoot, he's a high paid actor, and he just does he does the voice for Rocket.
Yeah, he's got the easiest job.
Pretty much,
right?
Pretty much, yeah. And whatever he got paid in Avengers Endgame as well too.
Yeah, that's a nice gig, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I mean, anybody, if you get an MCU gig, don't complain. You're getting a good paycheck.
Yeah, and there's so many the franchise is so huge, right? That
It is.
you can just keep on making movies.
They'll keep on with this forever. I mean, they got Disney backing them, and Disney's a fucking money machine.
So, do you think they can keep building on these movies, or does it have to be strictly towards the comic books, continuity with the comic books?
Well, a lot of what they do delve into the source material for a lot of these, and then some of the characters, like in this film, some of the characters they're not exactly how they are in the book at all. Like Stallone, his character Stalker, who I know as Starhawk, is nothing like what I've seen in the book, and neither is Ving Rhames' character Charlie 27.
Okay.
And who else? Yeah, that's pretty much it for right now.
Yeah.
In this scene, yeah, it's good that they use this scene. Ego was considered a god, and the song is My Sweet Lord, and George Harrison was often known as the more spiritual Beatle. I mean, he embraced Indian and Hindu culture and helped add some of that stuff into their work and his own solo work as well, too.
Yeah, the George Harrison, man, the guy is just... He's just such a, again, another legend, kind of who was the other one? Paul
McCartney.
Paul McCartney. These guys, they all do their side projects and have their solo projects. And
you mentioned Paul McCartney. That reminded me of a Jim Norton comedy sketch where he goes at Heather Mills, McCartney's ex-wife. He says, "Lady, you have one leg and you married one of the Beatles. How do you fuck that up?"
Yeah, man. They are really people like to crack jokes about the Beatles.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're so deep in pop culture. It's how do you not?
Yeah, and then you have the like I was talking about the whole Yoko Ono thing. That's always people blame her for everything. So, but I was listening to a Howard Stern interview with Paul McCartney, and he was they were talking about Yoko Ono and John and how the whole breakup and how she was responsible. And he was no, he was really defending her, and he was they just really loved each other, and that's just the way it was, and that's just kind of, he didn't really blame her, which I thought was kind of honorable,
I guess, yeah. I mean, back then maybe he did. I guess time changes,
changes things. But so we go to our next song by Jay and the Americans, right? Or
we wasn't even done with this one yet.
Oh, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Yeah, the lyrics, right?
I mean, the story of Ego's creation in the movie bears influence. I mean, Ego, he created himself pretty much, and he's been searching for meaning, but he's been going about it in a nonchalant, I don't care if I have to destroy even my own children. Yeah. Yeah, it's in the song itself, My Sweet Lord is literally about searching for God and some yearning. And really, and what's been going on since the beginning of the film is Peter really wants to know who his father is. Yeah. I mean, at one point in the film, Gamora accuses him of being sensitive about it. He says, "I'm not sensitive about my father. I just don't know who he is." Yeah. And later he learns. He's excited to learn at first because his whole life he sits there thinking, "I imagine my father was David Hasselhoff." Which is funny because Hasselhoff does make an appearance in the movie. Yeah.
And where did that come from? Why did he?
He's a kid. He's a kid in the 80s, and up to I think up to 1988, pop culture is what he knows.
Yeah, and I guess Hasselhoff was really popular for the Knight Rider.
Knight Rider, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess he also sings as well or something. He's a man of many talents, right?
Yeah. What Peter Quill imagined himself to be.
Oh man, did you ever see the roast of David Hasselhoff?
So that was the final Greg Giraldo roast. Of course I saw it.
Yeah.
And Giraldo ripped it. He said to Hasselhoff, he managed to connect Hasselhoff to the recently dead Gary Coleman. And Hasselhoff's alcoholism to Gary Coleman. He said, "Your liver is so shriveled, black, and dead that if you put your ear to your side, you can hear it go, 'What you talking about, Willis?'"
He said something like if you're looking for David Hasselhoff, you'll find him drunk on the floor or something, passed out on the floor.
Because Hasselhoff, there's a video of him eating a cheeseburger on a hotel floor, and Giraldo managed to connect that to Jerry Springer, who was part of the Deus, because Springer used to be the mayor of Chicago, and before that he was aide to Bobby Kennedy, And then he said, I guess that explains your connection to Hasselhoff because you like hanging out with guys whose careers end on the hotel floor. Oh, that's fucked up. But it's a roast, so what do you expect?
Oh man, he just tore him up in that roast.
Yeah, he did, but Hasselhoff could take it though.
Yeah, it was. He did it. He played. Played it off, and he was a good sport about it. So.
And Geraldo made McFarlane cringe with that whole "what you talking about, Willis" joke. If you can make Seth MacFarlane cringe, you're good.
Yeah, exactly. So, and
this whole thing, the song, Peter, he really wants to meet it. Not only wishes to meet his father, but wants to stay with him, prove that he's worthy of being his son. And for a little while, that's what Peter wants to do until he learns what his father wants to do with him, make him into a battery.
Yeah. Man, so this next song, Jay and the Americans, Come a Little Bit Closer.
This is another fun song too that was using a fun scene.
Yeah, and then so essentially it's Yondu and Rocket kind of just escaping from the Ravagers, right? Like,
yeah.
So they're just walking out, like, and Yondu's using that arrow to just take everybody out.
That telekinetic arrow, I'm like, that's cool as hell.
They were just walking out like bosses too, man. Like they're just.
And it's one of the more violent scenes in the film, actually.
You know what that scene reminds me of? I was thinking about this when I was watching. I was like, what does this scene remind me of? It reminds me of The Matrix when they
which part?
The part where they're walking and like they're in The Matrix, the first one where they go through the security guards and they're just like walking through and it's like
and they got all those guns under their trench coats.
Yeah, it just kind of reminds me of The Matrix, and they just walk like through there like
it's
bosses.
Like clean,
yeah. It's a pretty cool sequence, but this is funny, and it's like you look at the lyrics, it's like come a little bit closer, you're my kind of man, so big and strong, come a little bit closer, but literally come a little bit closer.
Come a little closer, I can stick you with this.
Yeah, so this was great, man.
Like the night is long, and so is my arrow.
Yeah, and then this, Jay and the Americans, like I feel like I didn't know much about this.
I didn't know nothing about them at all before this.
Yeah.
Again, I think James Gunn, a lot of these songs, I think people suggested that they use them as a joke, but I guess he figured I can find some way to make this work.
Yeah. So it was great. It was a really well placed song. But then we have the infamous, right, Sam Cooke.
Oh yeah, I feel like we covered a cover of this in Ali, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, we keep coming back to this song, man. Like, and it's a great song. I mean, it really is.
And this is the original version, actually.
Yeah. So, I'm a huge fan of this song. I loved how they used it in Ali, the cover song, and then even in this one as well. I mean, in this scene.
Peter's still trying to mac on Gamora.
Yeah, and he can't do it.
He can't, even with the references to the TV show Cheers that he keeps making.
Yeah.
I'm Sam, you're Diane.
Yeah, and he just flops like he did in the last movie, right? Like,
yeah, I mean he smashed several alien women growing up, no doubt. But Gamora, he is smitten with Gamora. He loves her.
Yeah.
And she's got some affection for him. There's at least something in there. Otherwise she would have taken off a long time ago.
Yeah. And all these like pop culture references, like you said, Cheers.
Yeah, Quill is fond of making pop culture references. I mean, in Avengers: Infinity War, he asked Spider-Man if Footloose was still the greatest movie ever, and Spidey's like, "It never was the greatest movie ever."
Yeah, man, and this must be, I don't know, this must be like James Gunn kind of putting in all this like pop culture references, or the script writer.
A lot of it is.
Yeah, it's funny, man. I like the David Hasselhoff stuff, and then the Cheers references, and
like I can't wait to see what they're going to do next for Volume 3.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be off the hook. But,
I fucking hope so.
Yeah. So yeah, we look at the lyrics here. If you ever change your mind about leaving me behind, bring it to me. Bring your sweet love and bring it on home to me. So yeah, definitely a love song. I think it fits.
It fits there, and if you look at this little snippet of the lyrics that we got here, it harks back to the beginning of the film with Meredith and Ego.
Yeah.
If you ever change your mind about leaving, then come back.
So, and I feel like it's pretty similar to that. What's it, Brandy?
Then Brandy's Looking Glass by Brandy.
Yeah, Looking Glass.
Brandy by Looking Glass.
Yeah, I always think Brandy when I hear that, like the
singer.
The singer, yeah.
Yeah, Moesha.
Yeah. And yeah, man, does she ever do anything anymore? Like,
yeah, she still acts.
Okay.
Sometimes, admittedly, I confuse her with Gabrielle Union.
Okay.
They look alike.
I'm surprised she didn't do any more like solo kind of work, right? Like
she might have, but I don't know. I haven't checked for her since her and Monica did The Boy Is Mine 22 years ago.
Yeah, wow. Time flies, man. The next song by Silver, Wham Bam Shang-a-Lang. Yeah. This song, yeah, I mean,
they were another obscure band, like, and they were they were a country music band, and this was their only hit. And this was used in the scene where the Sovereign are the group of golden people that the Guardians were working for at the beginning of the film. But because the leader of the Sovereign chose to down talk to the Guardians, Rocket stole some of their batteries, even though he didn't even need to steal none of their batteries, just as a way of giving 2 middle fingers to them for their condescending attitude.
Yeah.
And since then, they've been on the run from the Sovereign.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they got the Sovereign, the Ravagers, and Ego to deal with. And the Sovereigns right now, they sent one more fleet of drones to track them down, but the Guardians are busy trying to destroy Ego's core.
I feel like Rocket's just like a troublemaker, man.
This whole film is like, but they showed him having more character in this film, though.
Yeah.
Character development, that is.
Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like he's always getting into trouble, and
yeah,
you know. In the last movie, I feel like he did too, right? He's just kind of a menace.
Yeah, they're him and Groot. They're mercenaries.
Yeah.
Wisecracking mercenaries.
I mean, did Groot? I mean, did he even? I mean, he had probably like what 3 or 4 lines in this movie, right? Like,
I am Groot, all exclusively said in that order.
By Vin Diesel, man.
Yeah.
And he still got paid, right?
He still got paid. Yeah, I am Groot.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's all he can say, even though he's thinking something else is funny.
Yeah. Is he still doing the Fast and Furious stuff, or is that all The Rock now?
I don't know. Personally, I think they could have ended at Fast 7. That's the last one I saw.
Yeah. Talk about a moneymaker, man.
Yeah, that's they can go on forever with that one. So.
Yeah. So do you think this was a good song to put into this scene? I mean,
it works. It works. The lyrics are what's it called? They're scene. When I listen to the lyrics, I'm like, this is Peter and his father. That's their relationship right here.
Yeah.
Things have gone from bad to worse, leaving them to do only one option: do their wham bam shang-a-lang and shang-a-lang-a-lang thing.
Yeah. So then, I mean, what the next song by Cat Stevens?
Father and Son,
the infamous Cat Stevens.
This was a very emotional scene.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm trying to think. So this is when they were talking, right? Like
after they destroyed Ego,
right? And
Kraglin, he gives Peter, after Peter's Walkman was destroyed by Ego, right?
Yeah.
The last memory that he had of his mother or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Kraglin gave him a Microsoft Zoom. It says 300 songs, and Peter says, 300 songs? I'm like, dude, the battery life on that thing is shit. I had one myself. The video, the picture image is really good. The organization, MP3s is good. But the battery life goes to hell after 4 years.
Yeah.
And at that point, that was 2014, so them Zooms were discontinued. You were better off with the iPod Classic.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to do for the third movie, what he's going to get, like if they keep playing off of that kind of joke.
Yeah, or if they...
I don't know.
Or if he's going to be streaming. I don't know.
Yeah, Spotify.
Spotify, or whatever they can use for Spotify in space. They'll figure out something.
Yeah, it'll be that, or it'll be like, what the Amazon, the little robot that talks to you, right? I forget the name of it is. The Amazon Echo or something, or... Yeah. But, yeah, this is, it is an emotional scene. But then, I mean, you're kind of surprised, right? Like, I mean,
with
Yondu and like that whole.
With Yondu, yeah. I mean, we thought Yondu was just a bad guy that was just trying to recapture him for money at the beginning of the film, but Yondu was Peter's real father figure.
Yeah.
Like as Yondu said during the film, Ego may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy boy.
Yeah. And I feel like their character, I mean, like, he was kind of doing the same stuff, right? Like, Peter Quill was stealing the orb in the first movie. Uh-huh. And he's kind of like...
he taught him how to be a Ravager, pretty much. How to be an intergalactic thief, pretty much.
Yeah, like almost a pirate, right?
Pirate, yeah. That's what the Guardians of the Galaxy are. I mean, in the book, they're more superheroic, really. They live up to their Guardian's name. But here, they're like semi-heroic space pirates. It's like the Starjammers from the X-Men. Yeah. That's how they were like. And they were more fun in the book than the Guardians were in the book. Here on screen, it's the other way around. Yeah. Even though we've never seen the Starjammers on the big screen yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but this scene, it was a real powerful scene. This funeral scene where Rocket gets word to all the other Ravagers to let them know of Yondu's sacrifice, and they give him a funeral.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely emotional. I mean, you look at the lyrics too, all the times that I cry, keeping all the things I knew inside. It's hard, but it's harder to ignore it. If they were right, I'd agree, but it's them, they know, not me. Now there's a way, and I know that I have to go away. I know I have to go.
Yeah, from a father and a son, and the son and the father is how Cat Stevens framed the lyrics.
And it works perfectly with the scene.
It works perfectly, yeah, because the whole father-son thing that was throughout the movie, and even Rocket breaks character in the film too.
Yeah, and then even the credits that they used, right? Like the songs in the ending credits.
Yeah, Cheap Trick song.
Yeah, Cheap Trick. We were talking about him in the last episode that we did, Over the Top, right?
Over the Top or Manhunter?
It was Over the Top.
Over the Top, yeah.
Yeah, he did, like, the lead singer did a track for Over the Top. It's just kind of crazy that, we revisit it again here in this episode.
It is.
And then you have, Parliament Flashlight. So is that Parliament Funk?
Parliament Funkadelic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that reminds me of that movie, PCU. You remember that?
Yeah, where
they show up and they play the house party.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think this is also used in, in Can't Hardly Wait as well.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many songs used in that film.
Yeah. And then the David Hasselhoff. Guardians Inferno.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they made use of that. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Zardu Hasselfrau.
Yeah.
Which is what Gamora calls David Hasselhoff, which sounds more German, more evil German.
Yeah.
Zardu Hasselfrau.
Like German, like it's not a pretty language. It's not not like French.
It's not like French. No. It sounds more militant almost.
Yeah. And it's just funny, man.
Like the football player Von Miller. I'm like, Von Miller. That just sounds like an evil German count.
Yeah. Then he plays for the Broncos, right? Von Miller? Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I never thought of that, Von Miller. Good call. And then I guess this song was composed by Tyler Bates and actually written by the director, right? James Gunn.
Yeah.
Who's a musician. And
Gunn's brother was in the film too. Sean Gunn. He played Kraglin, who was Yondu's second in command as lieutenant.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I was looking. It's a good thing you said that because I was like, I know he's like, I think this guy's James Gunn's brother, right?
Right.
But I was, good call out too. So yeah, man, like, what do you think? You think this next movie is going to be good?
Oh yeah, it's going to be good. I mean, the MCU machine, they haven't had a bad film, even though people shit all over Captain Marvel or whatever.
Yeah.
And I kind of understand their criticism about that one, but it wasn't a bad film. Personally, I would have let off with the Black Widow or the Scarlet Witch or even Maria Hill having a movie before this character, a female character who wasn't even established yet.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they showed her in Avengers Endgame, I'm like, that's the perfect doses I can take her in.
Yeah. Now, have they put any trailers out for the Volume 3 yet, or are they still?
No, they haven't, not yet. The only MCU trailer that's come out in recent months is for the Black Widow's movie with Scarlett Johansson.
Do you think that's going to be good?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I do. I'm looking forward to that one. I mean, they got some... I'm looking forward to the villain in the film, the Taskmaster, and Johansson. It's about time she finally got her MCU movie.
Yeah. Was it the Joker? Wasn't a Marvel
DC.
movie? That is DC, right?
That's DC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was good too, and that's leading the way in the Oscars, from what I understand.
Yeah, that looked. I mean, what's his name? Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, he's a good actor. I mean, he's been nominated before for other things, and he's been good ever since he was a little kid in movies like Parenthood.
Yeah,
he was good in that.
Yeah, he was good. He was good in The Gladiator.
Commodus.
Yeah. Trying to think of some other movies he was in.
Hotel Rwanda.
Yeah. He was in that Hotel.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that. He was in Walk the Line.
Walk the Line is Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
The Master. Her.
He was in the one with Mel Gibson. What was that? Signs.
And the one with Nicolas Cage, 8mm.
Yeah. He's had a bunch of good roles, man. He's just such a good actor.
He has really. I mean, you can't really... I think if his older brother, River Phoenix, was still alive today and still making movies, I'd be hard pressed to decide between which one of them is better.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. They're both, titans, man, heavyweights.
They were good, yeah.
Yeah.
River was a talent that got taken too soon.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hey, man, this was awesome. It was really fun covering the soundtrack.
This is a fun soundtrack. We're definitely doing the third volume when that movie finally drops.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna do that one, and then maybe we'll do Forrest Gump for the next episode or Blown Away. Yeah, one of those two.
Whichever one. I'm down for whatever, man.
All right, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
This podcast is available on my YouTube channel, RoTunes Reviews. It's also available on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and other major podcast distributors as well. So if you don't mind, please leave me some feedback. I'd really appreciate that. If you'd like to connect with me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter. My Twitter handle is @RoTunesRevs. I'm on Instagram, and I'm also on the Untapped app. My username is Brewtuned. This is Andrew signing off. Cheers. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and follow RoTunes Reviews on Blogger, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And as always, thank you so much for your support.